Hey guys, what's up? So I just had Jalen on. I really hope you guys enjoy this episode. We talk a lot of Celtics since they just won about 2 weeks ago, and Jalen and I are big Celtics fans. Jalen is a season ticket holder, so he knows a lot of basketball. So we talk a lot about that, and then later on in the podcast, we talk a lot about our faith, what it's like sharing our faith and just being comfortable doing that, and like talking to people our age. And then we get into Jalen's life, just about like his wife, his kids, church, and him working at Leblanc Winery. We talk also a lot of music and whatnot too. So hope you guys enjoy it. And yeah, catch you later. What's up, guys? This is the last house on the left. Today I have a very special guest, Jalen Leblanc. Is that how you say your last name?
Yes,
Leblanc?
sir. Yes, sir.
It's French,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I was thinking earlier about how I was going to intro you, man, and we had some problems with the mic, so we're
Yeah.
just kind of trying to make it work. So yeah, man, I'm glad to have you on. It was funny. I was also saying, or I was telling you earlier before we started the podcast, when Shane came on, he also had a holiday jersey, and his
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
he like bought the holiday jersey and then immediately like put it on, and then we started the podcast, man.
Oh, I love Drew. I love Drew.
Yeah.
I had to wear this. I've been like wearing Celtics shirts, jerseys. I want to say every. I have Sunday and Mondays off, so
Yeah.
every Sunday and Monday, that's like my attire. Like probably gonna be for the rest of the summer. Like this is like Celtics championship summer. Like I'm taking
Yeah.
advantage of it.
Yeah.
Like
And dude, I was so I'm like wicked cheap. So even when I'll go and buy golf stuff or whatever, to get all the name brand golf stuff, like all the, like the golf YouTubers that me and like Shane follow and some of my other friends,
yeah,
like they're whether they're like golf jogger line or if it's like good goods like their hats or their polos, they'll be literally like the polos will be like 50, 60 bucks. The hats will be like almost 40 once shipping and handling comes. And even like the golf pants, which the golf joggers are sick. I don't know if you've seen golf joggers before. They're kind
nah,
of like they're like kind of like shorter. Um, they're not they're somewhere in between like almost like a running jogger and like slacks, but obviously they're for golf and whatnot.
yeah,
But be all that as it may, I ended up getting my Celtics jersey for like 120 at Dick's. So I was
Oh,
really like
really?
trying to avoid it. Like I was looking on like eBay, like just trying to freaking
Who'd you get?
squirm something else. Oh, I have a Tatum. I have a Tatum jersey, the green one. So,
Yeah, yeah,
and that was the thing that I was thinking about, like as playoffs were about to start. I was like, well, who I want to have this jersey for a long time, right? And
yeah.
I
Yeah, that's your best bet. Like he's gonna be on the team
yeah,
the longest.
that's
You know what I
that's
mean?
what I was saying. I mean, now that we won a championship, I think even Jalen's gonna stay even longer now because like I feel like everyone will respect him more than they had in the past. Excuse me, but yeah. So I actually haven't brought this up yet on the podcast. So Celts just won the championship, which was
Yes, sir.
freaking amazing because
Yes, sir.
I had even when I was starting to play basketball around like seventh, eighth grade or whatever. That's when I like started kind of taking it seriously, which sucks because I wish I could have picked it up like so much earlier. But
Yeah.
even the thing is with Merrimack's like team, it's like dude, even if I was like practicing my ass off, like I would still have to, fight for positions for eighth, ninth, 10th spot on the team, especially with Zach Kerr or Eric Gendron. I think was a couple years older, or was he my grade? I don't know. He was leagues better than I could ever be.
Yeah.
And
Shout out EG, man. He just had a kid. Shout out EG.
oh, he did. Are
Yeah.
you still like
Yeah.
you still see him around? I thought you were closer with
Yeah, I
Tyler.
see him. Yeah, I graduated with Tyler. Shout out TG.
Yeah.
Um, and then but I
Cheers,
see
brother.
Eric like every year. Cheers. We do like a fantasy football draft, and we go like extreme. Like every year, Airbnb for the weekend. The boys
Nice.
like 10 bedrooms. We actually just booked it. We're still in the process because it's always like, oh, vote on this, vote on this. I can only go one day.
How much money do you put on it?
Probably like everyone puts in like $200,
That is
$250.
serious.
So, but I mean, think about like some of the places we stay at have like saunas,
Yeah.
like hot tubs inside, like 10
Jeez.
bedrooms. Like these are like mansions, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? So we all just throw down and then we just have a dope weekend. But Eric's part of that group, so.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, he just had a kid, so.
Nice, because he went out to, was it New York or the Midwest to go to college?
I think he went. I know Tyler went to New York.
Okay, that must be what I was thinking of. And me, you, and Tyler actually played on men's league together. That was literally like playing with Jokic. That was so awesome, man. He,
A lefty
Yeah.
one, yeah. It's funny. I've always thought TG's game was like he always reminded me, not really his game, but just like the way he looks too, and just the way he kind of played in a way of like a Porzingis.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know why, man. But maybe it's because he always grew up. He always wore Dallas shit.
Oh, yeah.
Maverick stuff, and then he maybe played on Porzingis played on Dallas, but yeah, man, he's a crazy player, man.
yeah, dude, it was so much fun too. Because even I'm trying to think of, there's like a Facebook picture I think that Carl put up of all of us. I think that was the team where it was me, you, Rob, TG. Was Tim on that team? Yeah, I think Tim was. I remember.
Alexis, yeah.
Was Lentz? That must be one of the last times we played with Lentz. Because I don't think we had Tyler and Levi.
No, we didn't have Levi. Levi was like the guy after Tyler
Yeah.
because he moved.
Our teams always struggled with height and rebounding.
Yeah. No, I got a team now. Like, hopefully, I got my boy Alex coming back. I'm gonna have one of my best teams now. So.
Okay, man, you better
so-
better capitalize on that.
You better get healthy, man. I still gotta
I
waiting
know.
for
Well, the
you,
thing
man.
is-
My mans don't play
yeah,
hoop
I
no
don't.
more.
I don't, man. I should. It's just tough, dude. With the, I think I've probably talked about this a couple times, but I'm just waiting. So I gotta lose. I gotta get back down to like 250 to before I can get like the knee injections. And I just got a new. Long story short, like a new my own insurance through FedEx now. So I
Yeah.
had trouble with them like trying to cover it and whatever. So I'm working that out now. But I did go and shoot. I shot hoops literally for the first time in 6 months,
Oh, nice.
which
yeah.
I've never had that much of a gap from ball ever. But it
Yeah.
was insane, man. Going back to the Celtics, though, I wanted to ask you, when did you start like following them like closely? Because the first team that I ever watched was maybe Smart's first year when we had
2014. No.
I just remember
Maybe
like
2014.
the focal points of our offense were like Avery Bradley, Jared Sullinger, Brandon Bass. Was it, I think Marcus Thornton was on that team?
Bass wasn't on that team. Olenek,
Maybe it was before
Evan
the
Turner. I mean, well, just to circle back, like to answer your first question about like when I became a fan of the C's, pretty much like when I moved here. So I mean, I started really liking basketball like when I was like, I don't know, like a little bit later, honestly. Like I like baseball was my number one sport growing up. Like I was
Yeah,
really
I
good
think
at
you
it.
told me that a while back.
And then basketball, like maybe third grade, like it was just like a game at recess, and then I was just always fast, so I was just good at just like dribbling past people and just laying it up. You know what I mean? Or like
Never using your left
just-
hand.
exactly. Or my role was play like Avery Bradley, like just stay in front of the best ball handler.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or the best scorer. And so then I started liking ball more, and then I really didn't have a team. I was living in Arizona at the time, so that was the year they got Steve Nash. So that team always
Oh.
intrigued me. I really liked Miami, which is crazy because like I hate the
I
Heat
know.
now, but
How dare you?
they had D Wade on the team though. I really liked D Wade. I was a fan of LeBron at the time too, so I kind of liked Cleveland. But then when I moved here, I didn't really like the Celtics much because my stepdad is from Mass, and I always had this thing with him that like any team he liked, I never really liked.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Spite
So, like,
being
every-
spiteful.
Yeah, like every time we'd play like a video game, for example, we'd play like NBA Live 2005. Like he'd play the he'd be the Celtics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I would be like, I don't know, like the Kings. I love the Kings too,
They
man. When they
just
had
got.
Paige
By the way, yeah.
Stojakovic, they just got DeRozan. Yo, yeah, we could talk about that in a bit. But
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
and then yeah. So then once I moved here though, like I would just spend like my Friday nights. Like I was really into basketball. Like I want to watch it every week and stuff. And the Celtics would play every Friday night. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then like I'd have friends over at my house. And it's like, what are we gonna do? Let's watch a Celtics game. It's on. You know what I mean? So, and then with like you had, and those teams weren't good at all. Like you had Pierce obviously, but this is like after Antoine. This is after Gary Payton in the 2004
Yeah.
team. So this is like Kendrick Perkins, like Mark Blunt, like Ricky Davis. Like this team.
I don't
wasn't
even know
making
if
the
I've ever
playoffs
heard
and
of Ricky
stuff.
Davis. Yeah, maybe it's. I'm young.
Yeah,
Younger. Well, no,
yeah,
not
that's
really.
true.
You
So,
got
yeah,
like
Ricky
what, 3
Davis
years
was
on?
Ricky Davis was like notorious for, um, on the Cleveland Cavaliers. He was like a couple seconds left or something in the game, and he had like 20 points, 10 assists, and like 9 rebounds. And he went, the ball got inbounded to him, and he like threw the ball off the other team's like
To get a
hoop
rebound,
to
right?
get a rebound
I
to get a
saw
triple
that on
double.
YouTube.
That's Ricky Davis. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
But yeah, man, I like pretty much.
That was the
I
beginning of
was,
stat padding.
yeah, I was like, I love watching the games, man. I love seeing like Tommy Heinsohn, just like,
Ah, yeah.
yeah, man, Mike Gorman, like it's
Those-
just the whole Celtic pride stuff. It was just like I fell in love with it. Then my first game I went to was against the Cavaliers, just because I wanted to see LeBron James. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like this is before the decision and stuff. Like everyone, no one had a reason to
Way
hate LeBron
back. Yeah.
before he went to Miami. You know what I mean? Like so, everyone my age was a LeBron fan, and he didn't play. So I was rooting for the Celtics that game. Like I honestly would have rooted for Cleveland, but I was rooting for the Celtics because LeBron didn't play. So that was my first NBA game, and then a couple years later, '08 happens. Like I remember where I was, like when I heard like Kevin Garnett got traded to the Celtics.
Yeah.
Like I was just like this, holy, yo, we could like we out, like we're here, man. We got KG,
Yeah.
and then
Did they do that, by the way? They had the big three. Was that specifically to go at LeBron? Did you get past LeBron or?
No, I mean, so you gotta think about like, well, I mean, LeBron made the finals the year before, but the East wasn't deep. I mean, you're not. LeBron's 24 at the time, I think.
Because that's what I heard in
24,
narrative, but I'm
23.
like, that doesn't make sense. I know.
No,
like you said.
my Boston wasn't even in the playoffs. They were just trying to acquire talent. A lot of it too was, I mean, pretty much we wanted. It was a weird, crazy experience because like they were tanking that year, and we all wanted them to get the first or second pick because your options were Greg Oden, who was like supposed to be a 7-foot Bill Russell,
Yeah.
like legit. Like this dude's playing in the national championship game with like a broken hand, and like still blocking shots,
Yeah.
and then KD. And like everyone knew even then too, like KD is gonna be KD. Like no one expected him to be this good, but like he was at least gonna be like a T Mac.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So and then we got the 5th pick. And you ended up being like Jeff Green, like so. Then we ended up trading it for Ray, and then we just Danny Ainge was just like, yo, we can get KG, put KG, Ray, Paul, boom.
Did you hear also on a random note that Kevin Garnett like vocalized this to Jeff Green that he's like, you can be the next.
The next Michael Jordan? Yeah. Oh man, don't get me started on Jeff Green. Like he's got I've never seen a player with like so much potential.
My
like
sister
Jeff
was
Green.
at
Like,
the game where he hit the buzzer beater against the Heat in their building.
in
Yeah,
Miami.
she was there for the game.
Oh,
And she's
that's
like, I'm the only
crazy.
Celtics
Gerald
fan
Wallace
here.
with the pass,
Yeah.
bro, went all the way in the corner. Yeah, LeBron was on that team too, man.
Was that?
Yeah.
It might have been on LeBron. That shot might have been on LeBron.
I think it was. Yeah, man. Jeff Green is.
Uncle Jeff.
Yeah,
He's
man.
still in the league too, which is crazy. He won with the Nuggets, right?
He might be a free agent. I don't know if he's signed right now, because I don't know what team he played for last year, but
No, Rockets. Rockets.
Rockets. That's crazy.
Yeah. The Rockets are a team.
Yeah, Jeff Green. Jeff Green was. I've seen like a lot of talented, just raw talent over on the Celtics the last since I've been a fan. But like Jeff Green, Gerald Green was another one
That
too.
guy could
just a guy
jump
who
out
didn't
of the
reach his
building.
potential. Like that a guy I thought was gonna make it. Like I thought Jeff Green was gonna be dope. James Young was another one.
From Kentucky. Yeah, he was with the
Kentucky.
who were the twins on?
Shout out my boy Atug. Let him develop if he sees this, man, because he loved. He actually has a James Young jersey signed by James Young.
Really?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I was with him when it happened. It was against the Sixers. It was like a preseason game, and then we saw James Young, and he's like, "Yo, James Young!" Like he signed the jersey.
Jeez, that's funny because the Harrison twins were also on that crazy college
Kentucky team, yeah.
Didn't they have Tyler Eulis and Randall on there too? I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
that was one time where I would never really watch college because I just didn't know basketball enough to appreciate it at that point. I mean, but at the same time, it was just they were special. And James Young was like Harden.
Yeah, the lefty, yeah, man.
Lefties
He
always
dunked too. Well, that's why that's why I'm excited for this kid Baylor who they selected from. Where'd he go? Wow, where's the rookie from?
I should know. I haven't actually. I've only.
I forget what college he went to. I know it was South Dakota before, and then he transferred. I forget what team he went to, but yeah, Boston, and he's lefty, the shooter, like the Hauser replacement.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Hauser.
Creighton, that's where he went. Creighton.
Yeah.
He's from Creighton.
Yeah. I kind of. I wish that we gave J.D. Davison more time, and
Oh, he just re-signed,
He did?
man. He re-signed today. Yeah, he signed a two-way
'cause
contract.
he's got
I don't. I'm not. I'm out on JD. I don't think he's got it.
he's never had
He doesn't have
chance
the hand-
though.
Yeah, he has, bro. This is gonna be his third year in the league.
Yeah.
He's too passive when he's on the court with NBA players. He doesn't have an outside shot that he's confident enough to take off the dribble, and he's very athletic, but he's not athletic enough in a jaw that jaw's just going to I'm going to use this athleticism as a weapon,
Yeah.
and I'm going to see how far it can take me. He doesn't take risky risky things. You know what I mean? He's a very safe point guard, which is good. He doesn't turn the ball over a lot, but
I thought he was pretty
it's like
dirty
he-
when it came to the G League.
he's pretty what?
Dirty.
Oh yeah, no, I mean he averaged 20 and
Yeah.
something, but it's the G League. You know what I mean? It's different.
You
Like-
could average 30 in the G League and be like,
Yeah, exactly. It's
like
different. on the
Michael
court.
Beasley.
I'll be at the games and I'll legit watch. Sometimes I'm just there's sometimes I probably went to 30 games last year, and there's a couple times at the end I'll stay till the end and I'm legit watching. I'm I will legit focus on that shit. And I can just tell dude, this guy's not supposed to be here. This guy's not in here. The I forget 91. He's the European guy they're not bringing him back. He was
On
I
the
knew he wasn't
Celtics?
gonna make it. Yeah, I forgot how to say his name, but it's SVI. That's
the shooter?
Yeah, the shooter, yeah.
Mikhailu?
I think that's his last
Yeah.
name. Yeah.
Yeah, he was on the
Yeah.
Lakers a little bit before that.
Yeah.
He was like a
They're not bringing him
discount
back though, so but they brought back everyone. They brought back down Kada, Tillman. They got Tillman on the minimum. which is
Tillman hits a
crazy, man.
huge three in the finals
Huge three in
against
game
Dallas.
3, man. And he played good defense on
He
him,
actually
man.
did. I was surprised.
He
I didn't
did,
think
bro.
he could
He
play
kept up
D.
with him. No, he can move his
That's
feet.
my
good.
spirit animal, man.
Yeah,
If I was in the NBA.
you are.
Either him or
You are
Sullinger,
little
bro.
Xavier Tillman, man.
Um,
Sullinger.
Sullinger's amazing, bro. How long have you been a season ticket holder, by the way?
So it was the year after. I think it was the year after Smart got drafted.
Yeah.
So I pretty much what happened was I went to. This is right when I started serving. I was 21. I was serving at a restaurant. I was making pretty good money, the best money I've ever made, in my life, kind of thing. And then the team was rebuilding and stuff. So I was just going to all these games, on Ticketmaster. I would just buy. What I would do with my friends is we would buy cheap tickets, and then I would go on Ticketmaster and look at the seats that haven't been bought yet, and then I would just sit in those seats.
Nice.
And so we would sit 5 rows behind half court,
Yeah.
and we wouldn't get kicked out. One, because no one was at the game because the team was bad, And then too, like security was just like whatever,
Must
you
have
know what I
been
mean? Like
sick.
now it's different. Like
It's like packed
it's
for like
just it's
preseason.
pat. Yeah, exactly. Because it's like they're the number one team at Boston right now.
Yeah.
So, but yes, I was doing that, and then I got a call from work, like the next summer from the Celtics at work, and I'm just like, I answer it, and I'm just like, hey, um, what's up? And then there's like, this is so and so from the Boston Celtics. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like,
Yeah.
they're like, no, this is, and then I legit had to like go outside, and I'm like, what's up? And they're like, you pretty much because they have a thing through Ticketmaster, they saw was buying all these games, and they're like, we selected you to get some season ticket.
No
Like they're pretty
way.
much, yeah, like. And so I pretty much I think what it was they were just calling out people who bought all these games. They were trying to get people to get season tickets. So they were trying to charge me all this money. I'm like, no, man, I want like the cheapest thing. So they sold me on like a 10 game package, which was like the rivalry plan,
Huh.
which had like Cleveland, uh, which had LeBron, Kyrie at the time. So this was like 2016, I want to say.
Probably throw the Knicks in there, or maybe
The
maybe the Heat.
Knicks, the
Oh
Lakers.
yeah, duh.
So that was Kobe's last
Right,
year,
right.
bro.
Yeah.
So I saw Kobe's last game in Boston for like $20.
Wow.
And so what I
Did he
did
have a
is I
good
went
game?
on.
Did he have
Did
a
what?
good game?
Yeah, the Lakers won too, bro. It sucked, bro. It was crazy. But he hit like a dagger shot with like a minute left
You know
too.
what's funny too? If like
Like
Kobe had his like last game in Boston, there's no way he's getting 60 points. There's no
nah,
way.
nah, nah, nah,
We would
nah.
not
Yeah,
let him do that.
yeah. There were so many Lakers fans there
Yeah.
too. Like it was.
I
It
mean,
was
his last
crazy,
game was
but
against the Jazz, I think, and he was like abusing Gordon Hayward.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. On 50 shots though.
True. Yeah. Obviously, that wouldn't be Kobe.
Yeah,
Which is on another note. I heard or I saw on Paul George's podcast, he had Gordon Hayward on, and Gordon Hayward would work out with Kobe, and he was saying like
yeah,
how Kobe once tells him he's like, hey, meet. So they plan to meet up at the gym. So he's like, meet me there at 5:45 a.m. So Gordon Hayward gets there like a little bit, like a couple minutes before. He's laced up, ready to go. He's looking around. He's like, well, I know Kobe's not going to be late for this workout. It's Kobe. You know, he's freaking David Goggins with his work ethic. You know, and so 6 o'clock comes around, no Kobe. 6:15, and then he shoots like Kobe texts like, "Hey man, we still doing this?" And then Kobe's like, "Oh, you're there? Cool, I'll show up." And the whole like thing behind it was like Kobe was like doing that to like test Gordon Hayward to see if he would get early. So next day, he's like, "All right, I'll see you there at 5." And then Gordon Hayward shows up like a couple more minutes earlier, and like Kobe's already there, like sweating at like 5 a.m. in the
yeah,
off
yeah,
season. And it's just like
yeah.
just that mentality and stuff like that stuff is more caught than taught, you know?
Yeah, they said that's what, like, I think the 2012 U.S. team, like, or maybe it was 2008. I think it was 2008. Yeah, like Braun, Wade, all those dudes. Like they saw Melo. They saw like when they were going out partying and like I think it was Tokyo was
Yeah.
the
Yep.
Olympics. Like Kobe was working out. Like he already had a workout finished before they woke up, and that like especially he went to the finals the year before that, so that like changed their
Yeah.
mindset, which is just that the good thing for the game. You know what I mean? Because like then Braun gets that, and now Braun, look at Braun. Braun's going longer than Kobe did.
Yeah.
Braun's I think 39, so now like every dude who sees like Braun like. I want to be that, so now that's gonna
Yeah.
extend the game. Hopefully, we're gonna be at a point that dudes are playing till they're like 40.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that'd be cool.
Yeah, man. And
Like it's sad seeing dudes like Kemba. Like Kemba,
oh,
I love
yeah.
Kemba, especially on. He's just a cool dude, man. I saw him on Carmelo and Kid Mero's podcast, and he announced his retirement,
Yeah.
and it's like, dude, he's like 32.
Yeah,
Like,
that sucks.
you know what I mean?
I feel like there's a lot of times where you just see like, and I don't know what the average lifespan of an NBA player is. Do you know how long? I assume for the average NBA player, it got to be like 2-3 years, right? Maybe 4.
The average. Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably say like 4.
I guess I should say
NFL is probably like the lowest. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Because technically playing in Europe and whatnot is also professionally. and what
Yeah.
or wherever it is. Speaking of LeBron, um, I I didn't I didn't really understand this because when all this stuff's coming out before the NBA draft, which happened a week or two ago, LeBron, like sources came out that like Braun was willing to take a pay cut, right, for like LA to grab
Yeah, for a
someone,
free
which
agent.
I
Yep.
thought was supposed to be DeMar DeRozan. I guess not. And so then, literally like 3 or 4 days later, after reading this, Jalen, LeBron signs 2 year, $104 million contract. I'm like, I looking at the comments, and all these people are like, "Yeah, Braun, you get your money, you're back." I'm like, he's already a billionaire, bro. Like, you're
Yeah.
straight, man. Like,
Yeah.
you're good. I just
Yeah.
don't like. I guess his championship window is fully closed, but
It's the NBA is going to be so hard to build and can keep a championship contender like under these new rules. Like I don't know if you really felt like understand the new like CBA with the aprons and the new
no, I
taxes and
don't.
stuff like that. Like it's just so that's pretty much a big reason why like the Celtics owner is like selling the team because he just can't afford it.
Yeah,
Like pretty much there's like repeater tax, which is like if you're like in the over this certain amount of money, like I think like the luxury tax is like you have to pay like double. So if you're like $4 million over the luxury tax, you have to pay like eight.
oh,
You know
jeez.
what I mean? So like the Celtics in like 3 years are gonna be like 50 million over.
Yeah,
And like there's like another thing called like the repeater tax, which means like you get like 3 times the amount. Like there's all these rules. So
yeah,
this is like a pretty big reason why like LA they didn't re-sign Paul George
yeah.
because they don't
Clippers
want
are
all that
F
money adding
anyways,
up.
though. I'm sick of them.
It's the reason why Denver didn't bring back KCP.
Where did he go to?
He went to Orlando.
Oh.
So the last 2 years they've lost. They lost
KCP played well in the finals.
Brown.
Didn't he have like almost averaged like 18, 20 games?
KCP's nice, man. He's a great 3-and-D player, like, and he's exactly what Orlando needs. So they've lost 2 starters in the last two
Yeah.
years since they've won the
Speaking
championship.
of the Magic, did you hear that Franz Wagner got $224 million?
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all.
He's not a bad player, but I'm like, dude, for that guy,
He's their. He's their like. He's their like in their mind, they want like what the Celtics have, with like a Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown. Like he's their Jalen
they're
Brown.
very good fundamental.
Completely different
Him and
players,
his brother, but
but like
is he
different.
really a
like he's
scorer
more
though?
in retrospect.
I
Like
guess. I mean, obviously, like Cole Anthony and Jalen Suggs are probably not gonna really, I don't know, go far or be anything more than a, you know, backup point guard off the bench, maybe. But
whoa, no, Jalen Suggs is good, man. Jalen Suggs can play defense.
actually,
Jalen
yeah,
Suggs is a
I guess.
really good defender.
But as
Honestly,
a
that's
starter,
like
I don't know. He can start on the Magic.
well, he's like a.
He
I
can't
mean,
shoot
he's like
though,
a
right?
Marcus. He's like a Marcus Smart kind of guy. You know
He's
what I
that good
mean?
at D?
Like
Okay.
he's good on D, dude. Yeah, he's pretty good on defense. He's like he's a good like leader too. Like I think he was. I forget what college he went to.
He went
I
to
think, was it Nova?
no, he's an Arizona kid. I thought, isn't he?
I don't
I'll have to
know.
fact check that.
Um,
But
but yeah, like yeah, he's a really good defender. Like that. That's honestly one of the best. I think Boston has the best defensive backcourt.
oh, by
But
far.
they could be like up there with KCP and Suggs.
Whoo-wee.
Like watch out for Orlando, man. I like Orlando could be a top 3 seed next playoffs, especially if Paolo's gonna be his 3rd year and that dude's a dog.
Yeah, I actually like Palo a lot. I like him.
Paolo is a lot. Like I'll give Paolo this. Like I don't know if who's gonna be better between him or Jason Tatum, but Paolo at his age is better than what Tatum was at his age.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely yeah. That's well said, man. In fact, do you think Tatum's still pretty deserving? Like he can say whatever he wants now to the media, just about like you doubted me, all this stuff where he's, still keeping receipts and whatnot. Like he walked into the U.S. Basketball camp
Yeah.
with like a Celtics like
Yeah, like
thing
that.
with like
Yeah,
him
yeah,
and
bro.
everybody else on it, and he was getting lit up in the comments about it. But
Yeah, he's like cool to like hate on Tatum right now. Like he's corny on this. Like, man, JT's like he's not a top 3 player, but he's 5, 6, or 7. You know what I mean? Like you've just proved you can win a championship with him as your best player. And I love Jalen Brown, but Tatum is the best player on the Celtics. I don't care. I don't. I will argue that way. Like it's my opinion. If you really think JB's better than JT, I don't think you know basketball. Like it's just
yeah,
come on. Like you can talk about the dog and all
I don't
this
think
stuff.
Jalen Brown's not
Like
gonna get
and
doubled
I
that
love
much, right?
JB. Bro, every single the whole look at how the defense prepares for Tatum. Every time he touches the ball, all 5 defenders are looking
He's
at him.
kind of like Dame in that
Compared to how
aspect
it,
too.
he's like
Dame,
what? Tatum is?
yeah, because like or at least I feel like a year ago, especially when it got to playoffs, like they would just shove 2, 3
Oh,
bodies
for
at
like
Lillard.
on
Yeah,
Portland. Yeah, when he was on Portland.
yeah, when he was on
like
Portland, that is. Yeah.
no one's like definitely when other teams are doing their scouting reports, the number one priority is Jason Tatum. It's not Jalen Brown. So that is why you see like he gets better shots because he has worse defenders on him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like he's more he's more athletic. He has better dunks. Like you know what I mean? Like you could argue he's more clutch. I will give him that, man, because JB's
He
clutch,
is.
man. I've seen JB do a lot
It's
of stuff
amazing that
over his
he
career.
can shoot off the dribble like 20 footers.
Oh, JB's mid range is
I cannot believe
yeah.
he turned into a shooter.
Tatum just has something with his shot like the last 2 years. Like it just but the thing is like just look in the history, man. Like people anyone who's doubting JT, look at Game 6, 2022, when he put up 44 on the road in Milwaukee. Look at Game 7 last year. He put up 51 in Game 7 against
Yeah.
Philadelphia. What did Joel Embiid do? He had like 18 points. Like, you know what I mean? 51
Yeah,
in a
that
Game
is.
7.
I know it. Like we throw around 50 points now, like it's 30, like back like 10 years ago. But I'm like, dude, that's still freaking incredible. Or even was
It's
it
different in
Game
the
6?
playoffs, though, too.
What was the thing against Philly? Whereas Game 6, Tatum shoots terribly, but then hits
Oh, and then he
three.
comes
Was it 3 or
back,
4
yeah.
in a row at the very end
yeah.
that kept us?
Yeah,
in
the
it?
last like 2 minutes, yeah. When he's like, I'm humbly one of the best basketball players.
I don't know what
Exactly. Look at Tatum's resume, bro.
yeah.
It is very deep for someone his age, and it's a lot deeper. Like JB's got a nice resume right now, because especially he's got NBA Finals MVP is huge. That's a huge thing. And which honestly, as a Celtics fan, I'm kind of pumped about, like because I think that's gonna push JT.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna be like the Curry thing. Like Curry took him. He won his first championship, I think, in 2016. Didn't won 3 championships, didn't win any finals MVP. So there's always that thing for him to chase. I think that's what JT got.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a good point, man. It's a very good point.
who did you think should have won it between them?
I think Jalen Brown played a little bit better, but also what people aren't realizing, like if you're a true basketball fan and you can look at like basketball unbiased,
Yeah.
like Tatum is he's not just making all the right passes, but like everybody was sacrificing on that team, and where it's
Mhm.
just like I don't know how else to put it. It's like even when he's having these games where and obviously I'm not trying to be like, just look at the stats, but if you watch the game, Tatum's like shooting very badly, but he was playing good deep. Tatum also our friend Brandon is a huge Tatum, like he thinks like Tatum is like one of the best defenders in the league, which I think is a little out there. Um,
No, I will. Tatum, I think, was one of the most versatile defenders.
yeah,
Tatum, I mean, the biggest key for them in the Dallas series was them putting him on the 5, so you can't run pick and roll. So they would put
that
Tatum on
makes so
Lively.
much sense now.
They put Tatum on Lively or
Yeah,
Tatum on
yeah, yeah.
Gafford. That's why, dude. They had like 5 lobs the whole.
That's what was so
finals.
awesome.
They would have like 36, I think, before that.
I
Like,
can't believe Dallas beat. Yeah. Well, I can't believe they beat the Nuggets, but even the Timberwolves, where I'm just like, Guys,
No,
how couldn't
Timberwolves
you
beat the
figure this
Nuggets.
out?
Dallas didn't beat the Nuggets.
What did I say?
Timberwolves
Oh,
beat the
sorry, I
Nuggets.
misspoke. Um,
Yeah.
I can't believe they lost to the Timberwolves because, like, I guess they just couldn't. They
Denver.
couldn't. No. Well, I did have Denver. I had Denver, Boston,
I did
but
too.
it's just that whole lob threat. Like they really just couldn't figure that out. Obviously, like Kyrie played a little bit better than he did in the finals and against the. He played better against the
Minnesota.
Timberwolves than he did in the finals. So.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of it's kind of weird. Like that, Minnesota just didn't have someone to like guard Luca. That's what it was. Like their team was built to guard and to beat Denver. And they were even lucky to do that. I mean, they were down 20 points in game 7. They came back, whatever, they
Yeah.
won. But like you saw how they were celebrating. Like they were celebrating like they won the championship, you know what I mean? And then the next round it's like, all right, now you got Luca. Like in Luca, I mean, I still think Jokic is better than
I would
Luca,
agree.
but like if Jokic is here, Luca's here. You know what I
It's yeah.
mean? Like it's come on, like um so and that was the thing. Like they had McDaniels, but McDaniels was too skinny. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like you needed a guy like JB who's athletic enough to obviously quick enough to stick with him. Luca's not really he's quick, but he's very decisive with his moves and he's strong though.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. He was too strong for McDaniels. Like so that was kind of, and now I'm curious too. Like, look at how the league's going. Like, now it feels like Minnesota was just built to beat Denver. You know what I mean? Who just won the championship before? Look what the next team did. New York. New York now picked up Mikal
Yep.
Bridges because now they're loading up on wing defenders because now the team to beat is
Yep.
Boston. So now guard the Jays. You got to guard the Jays. But like I listened to a podcast the other day. It's like that can't always be the best strategy because what happens if New York now plays Philly in the second round? Who's guarding
Yeah.
Embiid? You lost Hartenstein. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So now you're built your roster upon beating Boston,
And
but
Mitchell
it's like
Robinson
what
is
about
kind of
Embiid?
injury prone too, right?
Injury prone. You know what I mean? He can't shoot. So like now you're playing.
Yeah.
You got that. You know what I mean? Like what happens if you get some foul trouble? Who's their backup five?
Yeah.
Randall. Like
Mm. Yeah.
who even knows if Randall's gonna be on that team too? Like I don't think he really mixes. Like
I don't think I always was a big fan of Randall, but the last year, um, when I was watching the Knicks a lot, I'm like, he's just always like forcing shots,
yeah,
which was always strange to
yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah.
But it would be interesting to see like what would they be like if they were fully healthy? It would be fun to see a Celtics Knicks like semifinal or whatever. You know that would be a slug it out,
I hope it'd
technical
be the Eastern
fouls,
Conference, man.
all this stuff. You know, yeah,
That's what I wanted last year because I wanted to sell those tickets, man. Like I could have gotten like $800 for those tickets if I would have sold them, but instead it was in Indiana, so it was like $300. It was like
I remember
I actually sold freaking game 1 too. Game 1, the game JB hit the
yeah.
that
To be
3
honest,
over
I'm like,
Siakam.
why are you? I'm like, no! And then he buried it, and I was like, and I wasn't even
man.
celebrating. I was like, okay, great shot, but I'm like, if
Yeah.
he misses that,
That was a great series, but that's also too like one of those series like the history books would be like, oh, Boston swept him. Like, nah, man, that was a tough sweep.
yeah,
Like if you remember like 2022 when they played the Nets,
yeah,
with like Katie and Kyrie, like that was a sweep, but that was a tough sweep. Like every game was like
I
10
can't believe
points.
you
Like
sweep with those two players, but yeah, it's just a team. It is a team game at some degree, and
yeah,
whatever.
and I mean, this is what I'll give Tatum. Like Tatum always he figures a way. He's figured a way the last 7 years of his career. He's always in the Final Four.
Yep,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like he's been to the finals twice.
What other? That's why I'm like, why isn't Luca getting any criticism? Not much.
like
Luca's been in the league for
yeah.
how long now? 6 years.
He's a year younger
Yeah.
than Tatum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one more quick, couple quick NBA things as well. Clay to Dallas. Honestly don't think it matters that much. I don't think Clay's totally awful, but I just don't. Clay can't play D as much, so I'm like Dallas is still gonna have defensive problems. But
No, I agree. Like he's replacing Derrick Jones Jr. He's less athletic. He's a better shooter. not as good of a defender. And Derrick Jones Jr. was a lob threat too. He was that athletic at like 6'8".
I remember
like,
him in
you could throw
Portland.
him a
Yeah.
lob. Yeah. So I don't like now. You have like I don't think people really realize too like who Klay Thompson is in 2024.
Yeah. 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 You don't want to disrespect people, but also at the same time, it's like you got to be realistic. So.
Didn't he go like 0 for 10 in his
Oh,
last
dude,
game?
he still is getting roasted by that. Like I'll see it in random.
And I mean, everyone has a bad game, but like it's
When you're a 4-time champion, yeah, it's just.
definitely he was not happy in Golden State. Like I did hear that.
Yeah, I
like,
think the
he
biggest
was-
thing was that they wouldn't give him the money, and I think really pissed him off.
I don't think he was coming off the bench. I think too.
Yeah,
They're starting
yeah,
the rookie
right.
over
yeah,
him.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see if Golden State goes for marketing.
Well, Steph just said something really sus. By the way, did you hear that? This was literally a
yeah,
day.
it wasn't that bad. It was like
Do you remember exactly how it went? Because I'm forgetting it when I.
it was something pretty much just like just
Things
like,
can change quickly.
I would yeah
that the-
yeah.
Yeah, at the end of his
Yeah.
quote.
But I mean, think about it. Like
Where's he gonna go though?
Charlotte, that's where he's from.
Oh my God, it will be like LeBron going back.
Going to Cleveland. Yeah, Charlotte.
Um,
They're not gonna be competitive though. You know what I mean?
so L.A. drafts Bronny. What do you think? Cool story, but I hate it. It's nepotism.
Nah, it's cool story. I mean, obviously.
I don't think he sucks. I think he needed another year or two in college. But
He averaged like 2 points per game, didn't he?
it was
Or 8
something
or
dumb,
something
stupid.
like that. Like
No.
he was coming off the bench.
Crazy
like,
guys like Devin Booker averaged 11 when he was on Kentucky.
Stacked teams
But-
though. USC wasn't
Yeah.
stacked. Like, I mean, LeBron actually had a really good quote today that he was like, Bronny could have been anything. Bronny could be like chose to be like a content creator, a chef, whatever. I've never pressured him to like go and do this career, have the same career as his father. It's something he wanted, and he's pushed himself to get there, and he's done it. And he's like, I'm proud of him. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, I kind of am rooting for the kid.
I hate it
because
because
like,
I am a little bit too. But I'm just like,
yeah, you know what I mean. Like, I want him to be good because like, why would I hate on him? It's not his fault
Yeah.
that, you know what I mean.
Do you know
Like,
why he's wearing number
yeah,
9, by the way?
Something about Juice World, right? I don't. Can you?
The-
I don't understand.
999 is like a theme with Juice World because it's something derivative off of like 666. So it's not satanic, but it's 999 is a thing. Shane's a big Juice World fan. So I want to get to your
Yeah.
on a random note. I always end each podcast with a top 5 artists, so keep that fresh in your mind.
Okay.
Segueing a little bit. So obviously, like we met through ball and whatnot. What was your first memory or impression of me? Because mine's kind of fuzzy. I think you remember it better than I do.
So I mean, the first time I met you was we were at the Y in Merrimack, and I think I was shooting around, and then you just randomly came up and you were just like, "Yo, you want to play ones?" Like, and then we played ones.
Did I win?
No, I beat you.
Are you?
I beat you. I do remember I beat you. And then you came to NSA.
This is like young Ben before the beard and tattoos.
Yeah, you came to NSA like a couple months later. You were Josh Potvin.
Yeah, Potvin.
Was on my team, and then
You know how I became friends with Josh, by the way? After I was seeing
Nah.
him. Obviously, I haven't seen him in forever. But, like, I became his friend a little bit more because he got, like, an elbow to the forehead, and it split open his, like, head. So, like, but
Yeah.
it wasn't bleeding, so it looked like you could, like, insert a coin right above his eyebrow. It was
Oh.
crazy. And I was like, this
Yeah.
guy's nuts. And then he came back, like, a couple days later with, like, just a big bandage. I'm like, this guy's crazy. But Josh was always nice to me. So he kind of
yeah,
got me
Josh
in.
is cool, man. Yeah. So you joined that team, and then I mean that was like I think I was the captain of the NSA team, and then I was playing on Gagnon's
My
NBA
Gagnon,
team.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was playing 2 nights a week. Then I'd play pickup too. Like I was playing ball a lot like that. But like
Yeah.
on that team, It was more just like I was having rotating people all the time. So I don't really remember the last time like when we first like had a conversation, because like I feel like you just joined the team and then it was like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm trying to analyze you as a player, especially as like a point guard. Like, what are your skills?
Yeah.
How can I make you better? What can you do
Dude, you got to be
good?
a coach,
Like,
by the way, soon.
I've coached since I've been 17.
Yeah. You should like.
Yeah, I coached my little brother. Yeah, and I've coached like travel. I've coached like MYA too.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Cool.
yeah, for like three
You'd
four
be a
years.
great
So
coach, man.
no, I definitely I can't wait to coach my kids.
That's
man.
what I'm
That's
saying.
like
As they
yeah,
grow
yeah.
up, and then you eventually be their high school coach.
Yeah,
Because you know what you're
yeah.
talking
So
about.
yeah, but yeah, just like I remember like analyzing you on that, but I don't really remember the first time like we chopped it up.
Was I quiet
Um,
back then?
yeah, definitely. Like you weren't
I
like
wasn't. I wasn't yelling at refs or complaining.
nah, 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 nah. I definitely don't remember that because I like playing with you because I brought you to NBA.
Yeah, and it wasn't even to be on the team. Like, hey, just come and see what this is like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because you were just like I remember. We needed to get like a just this guy off the bench who can just create havoc, and that was my vision for you because you never know. What I thought of you then is like you never know what you can get. There be
That was
some
true.
games
That
you
was
can get
so true.
you can get like 20 off the bench. Other games you
Eight,
get
4
yeah you get
layups.
8. Yeah, other games you'd get 2, but you'd have 8 rebounds. Like especially because you're like you're not too tall,
No,
but you're coming off the bench too, and then people see you and like you have a
they think it's barbecue chicken
you
time
had a
with me.
you had a good you have a I want to say you have, but you had a great first step.
I used to, yeah. No, I got fat now and I have
Really
knees.
quick first step, but
Yeah, that was funny too, because even half the time, like when we'd play it, like NBA, I always be guarding like these guys that were much better and faster than me, but I could body them up in the paint a little bit. So I remember like half the time, I remember I was felt so insecure. It was the first time like somebody called me white boy at NSA, and I was like, oh, is he mad at me? And I'm like,
wow.
just funny looking back on that.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love hooping. Like
Dude,
and it's
me and
funny.
you have so
It,
much fun when we play pickup too. We don't do it really anymore. But it's like, dude, we're always like talking shit. Like if we're guarding each other, like
oh
there's
yeah.
this funny thing on my Instagram where it was from a couple years ago, and I had to take a selfie for like my Amazon ID, and it was just like me with like I have this like grouchy look on my face, and I'm like either roast me in the comments or whatever, or caption this, and you put like when you're when your power forward makes a perfect cut and he blows the layup.
Oh, bro. I was playing with these cats yesterday at Nashua. It was just like a Sunday. Like I had a couple hours and have the kids. My wife was working, so I was like, I'm going to the gym. I just want to get some shots up. There were 7 dudes there, probably like college level, like maybe early 20s. And we started hooping and stuff like that. And then, dude, I was just like in my bag, like. And then, but like finally, like I did every kind of everything. Like I was dribbling, I was shooting off the dribble, stuff like that. I was like, yo, I gotta start setting people up. Oh my god, man! Some of these passes I was making, and just like, like cut, no look pass, and just brick like layup miss. And I'm like, and one of their dads was there too, like, and he was. So I wasn't like, I had to bite
Dude,
my
I
tongue,
hate it
you
when
know
the
what I mean?
dad's there. I'm like, this is pickup at the YMCA.
Oh man.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than making a great pass and
Yeah.
having someone blow it.
Yeah. So man, another cool thing that I've been wanting to talk or yeah, that I want to talk about and that I've had on the front of my mind ever since like having you come on is that recently, well, you've kind of always like grew up with some faith in your life, but you've really committed your life lately 2 years ago or and then you got baptized last summer? I don't know
Last
if that timeline's
fall.
fully.
Yeah, last fall. Yeah.
Yeah, talk about that, man. So like your whole experience with that, and whatnot, and I've been able to like see some of that, um, firsthand, which is funny because when I first being in the basketball world and just like doing pick'em and whatever, there's not a lot of like churchgoers always going there, and as you know, like I've said almost every word in the book, on a basketball court, and you have too, and we were never like the teams that we had. We never had people that would ever get into fights. But for some
Nah,
reason, like
man. My
people would
teams
always
are
get mad at
always,
us. It's like we don't do
bro.
anything, bro.
My teams are always like, even the teams now. Like, I look at the rest, I'm like, my teams are so
Yeah,
nice.
like we're
Like,
good
we're always
people,
nice,
dude.
bro.
Like,
Like, just make good calls. Like, we're gonna argue calls, but like, even till like, my biggest thing I always think is like, it's just hoop. Like, I hate when people fight at basketball. It's like, dude, it's just hoop.
yeah,
Like, come on, man. Like, basketball is
yeah.
fun. Like, it's cool talking shit, but like, when it goes, like, don't be
Something,
disrespectful.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So, um, yeah, but I mean, to answer that, the original question, like, I don't really know. It happened a little bit after I had kids. I had twin boys, Jordan and Trayvon, and they're two now.
wow, man.
Um, yeah, they turned two like a month ago. So, um, and then yeah, man, it was like really just didn't really grow up with, like, faith around me. Like, I went to church a couple times here
Yeah,
and there, but like parents never really talked about it. And it was always like this thing, like even like my friend groups, like just never talked about it. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like it was kind of, I don't know, like if you really think deep about it, like I feel like even society now, like it's kind of like it's kind of like just frowned upon, like
yeah,
to talk about it, and just God and stuff. Like, and this is a really like weird example, but like I was at work uh this weekend, and like I work at um like a country club type place.
yeah,
Like one of the places I run is like a restaurant, and like I got one of the kids in there, and he's like a busser, and he's like a good kid. Like he's in the kitchen and stuff. And this is like the day after 4th of July. So I'm like, oh, what'd you do last night? Like he looked kind of tired and
yeah.
stuff. And I know like he's a partier and stuff. So when he's like, oh, reading the Bible, I was like, oh, really? What'd you read? And he's like, Leviticus, I think.
Wow,
I was like,
that's
and I'm
bold for
like,
him to be doing
and
Leviticus, dude.
I was like, oh, like Old Testament, New Testament. He's like, Old Testament. I was like, oh, okay. And I'm just like, I'm saying it to be like, just honestly, just like to kind of tease him in a way, just to like, oh, what were you
Oh
doing
yeah,
last night? And
sure,
that's what he says.
sure.
But it's like, it's kind of funny the way that like him saying that, like, I honestly don't even know if he's lying or not. Like, I think he is lying, cause
I was
like,
gonna say Leviticus, bro, is just a lot of rules and history and
yeah,
genealogies. I think.
yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure he's lying to me, but it's like that's like the thing not to do is to like live that lifestyle and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Like,
think to add on to that real quick is that like even this is not a spite on any of my Christian friends because even I'm not at the church that I grew up in. I still have so many ties to there, and so many of my friends now are still like um, still very much claim the faith and claim to know Jesus and all these things. But there is this stigma a lot of times where, and I don't have one person in the front of my mind or a couple people when I say this, but even when I
yeah,
was growing up in a Christian school, like it was almost weird to be passionate about faith because you always have like faith is your culture, right? Like I grew up in church, I went to a Christian school, like talking about myself, of course.
yep,
Um, but when it comes to sharing like your own faith, your own personal things, it's like that's cool and whatever. But one phrase, this is kind of a little bit of a rabbit trail. We don't have to go down it, but there's this saying where people be like, "Oh, my faith is like private," and I'm like, I really don't agree with that statement at all. Not in a way where I'm trying to be argumentative, but I guess that is kind of a whole nother thing. But in going back to that thought, it's like, yeah, even when I was younger in high school, where like I didn't take my faith. I think even when if I try to put like a certain like date on like when I decided that I was really a Christian, I don't really ever know. I think mainly like junior, senior year, I started to take it more seriously and be just more like intentional with time with God, being open about God, and then also the normal things like Bible studies, going to church, being part of the worship team. You know that I've been a worship leader before and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it is that strange thing where it's like we're all Christians and we love God and Jesus, but don't talk about him too much because you don't want to seem overbearing. But it's like, dude, this is like the should be the ebb and flow of our lives. So, I just that was my
No,
two cents.
100%. But like, I mean, even I was coming from a point where like, legit, I don't think since I've moved to like New Hampshire, like I moved to New Hampshire when I was like 12, I want to say, which just like you understand things, like you can like understand things on a level as basic things as an
Yeah,
adult. You know what I mean? Like just culture and things like that. Um, and obviously, like religion is something you should be able to like comprehend and stuff. But it's just like something it's like something I would like go to. Like I got my first communion and stuff like that. But it's like we would go to church like sometimes like go to church to get my first communion, and then it's like we would go home and just not talk about it. So it's just like, what is this thing we're doing? You know
yeah.
what I
Like,
mean?
what's the
Like,
point?
and then when I went hang out with friends, like we just never discussed it. You know what I mean? It was just like never a thing about God. It was just like always like if anything, it's like the universe. You know
Sure.
what I mean? Like how did the universe start? Like, but it was nothing like maybe I'd have it like with like if I was like with like on a date or something, like I would make it to create conversation because I've always had that intrigue deep down in my
Yeah.
gut. Like, there's gotta be some point of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and then yeah, but pretty much like I was living my life the way I kind of think about it was just like without any help, like just on my
Yeah.
own, and you know doing whatever I wanted, living for pleasure, stuff like that,
Sure.
and then it was at a point like 2 years ago, especially when I knew I was having twins. Like, I finally just like thought about life and stuff, and it was just I don't know, it just kind of came to me, and started going to church, started like reading the Bible, started just like looking even up to like I'm someone for like I want proof, like looking at like
Yeah.
proof and just like legit like arguments because that's the way my brain works. It's just like well like even a way of like my brain still works like this too. Like even I'll go to church like and I'm still just like sometimes I'll like some part of my brain still like like what about this? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like does this and it's just like but I'm trying my best to stay committed and just like I don't know, allow Jesus into my life
Yeah.
and definitely having friends like you to be able to like discuss it and things like that are cool. But it's gone to a point too where like, I'm definitely people ask about it, like I'm open about it, like um and yeah, man, like it's nice, like it's definitely changed my life.
Yeah.
So
That's so cool, man. I think yeah, even with kind of a lot of things you were saying there. Once again, it's it's sometimes like a debated thing in Christianity where it's like, well, looking at like my personal walk with God or like what you just mentioned, it's like, okay, sometimes subjectively we'll be like, this is a time, like you say 2 years ago, like for your example, I mean, where you're like, this is where I think like, I've really just decided to really give God a try, like let Him into my life. I remember you said it with that, and
hmm
I think it's also like God, like us letting God, into our life, but also like, or as we choose God and we want God to let into our life, there's this like where you're opening up and God's coming in. So it's like this. It's a mutual thing because God's always like coming toward us, and His love is so great and so like forward thinking, and obviously like you think of like God, the God of the universe. Like how could God think of a terrible like mediocre person like me, right? But then there's this amazing thing where
don't say that.
yeah. What?
I said don't say that.
No, I'm saying like the fact of like just the comparison of God and like humanity, not specifically like myself or whatever. Even though sometimes I do think like that, so I appreciate it. Um, but just like this mutual pursuit of us pursuing God and God pursuing us, and really, as you probably, if you didn't already say this, because my memory is so freaking short because of my ADHD. God revealing Himself to you. And I think in these times, like I remember when I was in my senior year, and we had this camp at NCA, which was like a retreat. And I remember the first time, like really truly experiencing God's presence and being this thing where it would like last after the meeting or after, the worship song ended. And I was like, wow, just this excitement and this longing that is in all of us, that God shaped whole and whatever. And obviously, I would never take full credit for any of, the Holy Spirit's work. But you were actually one of the people I remember a little while ago, which we can cut this out if you don't want to keep it in. I remember like back in the day, we would always used to, whether it was me and you or other people on the team, like me and Lentz would roast each other about stuff all the time. But like I remember, like I'd be like, "Oh, it's a new basketball session. Jay's got a new girl or whatever." This is back when you were working at Whiskeys and stuff,
Yeah.
and
It's like a bit. If you don't know what Whiskey's is, it's like a big nightclub in New Hampshire.
yeah,
So.
it's Soho now, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyways, that being said, like you were one of the first people that I asked him, like you were already like pretty, even like with basketball, like with a good amount of our, basketball, it's like dudes like go to there to obviously like play, but kind of like unwind from like the work and stresses of the house or whatever.
Yep.
Um, but that was one of the times where, as we were just getting to know each other, I was like, you're pretty interested in faith and whatever at that time, because I remember like I fell off a little bit to certain degrees, but when I first started like playing ball, I would like be really good like controlling my mouth and doing all this stuff. And I remember one time like something happened, and I'm like, it's a fing foul or something. And I remember you were like taken aback. You're like, B, you can't be doing that. You're a Christian. And then like riding home, I was like, damn, he's like right. I should like be more careful. Which unfortunately many other things have expired since then. But or transpired rather. But I think that was one of the things that like God put on my heart, where where and it's even funny because you hear this all the time at one church, right? A big, I don't know if motto is the right word or catchphrase, is like, God, point me to the one person in my life that I can reach.
Share your love with you.
And I've always like been like, a decently social person, whatever. But even I remember going back to what we were talking about a couple minutes ago, like sharing my faith with my friends, even my Christian friends at times was hard, because it was like we were just brought up as like, to a certain degree, like be a good church kid and do all the right things. And at that point, I had really been on the up and up after, because when I was probably like 19, 20 when I started playing ball with you. And around 19 and 20, that's where, or when I graduated out of high school, I had like a dark season where I was like, what am I going to do with my life? What's my purpose? And all this stuff. Even though obviously to some degree I still feel that now. But at that time, I decided with where I was at, like in life, I was like, I'm just going to trust God for a season and see if it's legit, you know, which obviously it worked out. But
Yeah.
through that time, I would bring up like doubts I had about God, if God was really working in my life, if God cared about the relationships of my friends that maybe weren't quite like pursuing God yet, but maybe were in the Christian circles and whatever. And I just think it was cool. Like that was one of the times where I felt like I had times where I would leave. We'd be leaving like the court or whatever, and then you would like once in a while you would ask. It wasn't like a thing that would happen all the time, but you would ask about like church or whatever, and or we'd say something like a quick little like sidebar here and there. But then I would leave and I'd like, oh, like I wanted to say more to Jalen, but I'm like I didn't want to be overbearing or whatever. And obviously like I knew you pretty well at this point, so it wouldn't have been like overbearing or whatever. But that was one of the times where once again, I know I keep running around the same thought, but I prayed for you, and I actually saw like fruit come. So I thought that was really cool. And seeing like you and Kylie, especially like when the twins came around and you guys going to church and stuff, that was so inspiring to me because at that time, like 2 years ago, I was kind of in a rough patch with church and some other things. I had some church hurt and stuff going on, and so seeing you guys just excited and being passionate. And by the way, whenever I know you guys are still busy a lot with the kids, but that Bible study offer is still open.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah, we
remember
gotta
like
get that
coming
done.
over and so you became.
Yeah, I remember that you came over. You just like answered our basic questions.
Yeah,
Like,
well, even before that too, man.
yeah.
I'm thinking like, uh, I remember one time or one of the last sessions we were playing together, you were just uh, you were just starting to be very open about God. I'm like, this is like awesome and crazy. Maybe one time we got dinner and talked about it a little bit more. Maybe
Yeah.
after a game, nothing like serious or whatever. Probably had an Applebee's or whatever in our in our ball jerseys, probably still stinking up the place. But I remember I was like, just it was just cool when you see like um, it's at times I've kind of like been like up in the air with this phrase, but like honestly, man, the light of Christ that you see in someone when they like get it and they're like excited and just like really experience God in a legit way. It's something that like we should be passionate about things. And I'm a passionate guy and whatever, so I've always like um, tried to have as many, you know, conversations about God with my friends, and then and grow in God. Like I even gave a sermon a couple of years ago about the joy of the Lord, which is a similar thread to what we're talking about right now. But it was just so cool seeing that like happen actually before my eyes. And like you just mentioned, like I think I don't remember exactly when you told me, but you're like, hey, do you just we just came to a mutual agreement. We're like, you want to just come over and like talk about God? And then I'd be like, yes.
Yeah.
Like that shouldn't be a
Yeah.
weird thing, dude.
Yeah.
As Christians, man, think about how like crazy the world is and how like
Well, no. Back it up. I don't even think it should be a weird thing as Christians. I feel like it shouldn't be a weird thing for humans, like to
yeah,
talk about faith, religion, regardless of like any religion, Judaism,
yeah,
like you know what I mean. Anything like Muslims, like even too like, I mean, I'm trying like I've had a couple Muslim friends throughout my life. Like I've never asked them about religion.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and
That's a good
it's
point,
just
man.
always been that thing I've kind of grown up with. I'm just like, just don't talk about it. You know what I mean? So, um, a part of that was just like growing up and realizing, like, especially when you're about to do something as crazy as like have kids, like
Yeah,
it's just like, yo, this is like real shit. So it kind of just makes you rethink life and stuff, and that was really like yo, I gotta take this serious. Like I gotta really like, you know, go to my core and just like, there's something, there's something to this. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like to Jesus and stuff like that. Like in just there's, just reading like the Gospels and stuff, like his message, and it just like it just it feels right. You know what I mean? Like when just be nice. At the end of the day, love people. Like that's all there is to this world.
yeah.
You know what I
It's
mean?
that I think of that verse like, we love because Christ loved us, right?
Yeah.
And just trying to emulate that love as best we can. But it's also so cool, man, because like God's love is different than the world's love, right, man? It's like so much more powerful and like long lasting and pure in a way where it's just like, yeah, man. Even with all the ups and downs that I'm experiencing in my own life, like I think of this song by Jesus Culture. It's called "One Thing Remains," and basically there's this like tagline in the song: "This one thing remains. Your love never fails, never gives up, never
Yeah.
runs out on me." Right? And even back to this retreat in my senior year, I was like reading these words about these songs. I didn't even know these songs that I was at this because we had like a different speaker that came in late last second, and they were from Greece and they didn't know the normal whatever Christian contemporary songs. I was reading these lyrics and I was like, oh my God, like, and I just really experienced God's love in in His presence in an awesome way. And
Music's powerful, man. Music's
oh
powerful.
yeah, man, that's why one reason I like love um, Fly. Um, why I loved worship music so much because that's how like I connected with it just so strongly, And I'm like, I loved music, and then there was music about God, and it wasn't just organ
Yo,
music.
real talk, like that was huge for me because there's two things like I love. Like besides family, it's like basketball and hip hop.
Yeah,
And like the crazy thing was like getting into like Christian hip hop and to realize like wow, this is great music that makes me think about God, but it's also done like just dope.
yeah,
Like the amount of, I mean, like you saw me at the great
yeah.
concert. Like I got into this like 2 years ago, man. I've already seen
KB.
Lecrae, KB, John Keefe, 1K Pew. I've seen him twice.
Have you seen Trip Lee or Tadashi?
No, I haven't seen. I haven't
Yeah.
seen any of them. But like, I've been to Soul Fest. Like
Soulfest, man. That was one of my first concerts.
CKB. I met KB too.
Yeah,
I met
I
John
think you
Keefe.
showed me that.
Um, I mean, I was in like a. I bought like VIP tickets to see Lecrae. Like
Yeah,
that was a huge thing, man. Was getting into the music and just being like, yo, there's people who do music who just dedicate their craft towards Jesus and they're good.
yeah.
Like that was.
It's not corny.
No, oh no, it's not corny at all. I mean, I've even
There's a lot of corny Christian music.
no,
Sorry.
there is, but there's like when it comes to CHH, like nah, man. Like I show that music to like friends of mine who like I don't even talk about Jesus with, like you know what I mean. Like honestly, they could be atheist, like they're mostly atheists.
You
and
put it
shit,
in
but,
like coming in hot with Minio. Coming in hot.
Nah, nah,
Shoot my shot.
like I put them on like some John Keefe, some KB. Like I made like a playlist for like one of my best friends, and like I put KB Lincoln on it, and like he texts me, he's like, "Who the hell is this KB?" And I'm just like, "Yo, that's the
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
right?" And like even and the crazy thing too is like this is coming from someone who like I used to like freestyle with friends all the
Oh,
time.
you did?
Like,
Nice.
oh yeah, like I could like definitely like freestyle with people and stuff. You know what I mean? Like I've never like written stuff, but like
You
I
can go
can
off
like
the dome.
rap
Yeah.
decently. Yeah, and like to be able to rap and not swear and just use it as a crutch word, the F word, the N word. It is so it's like rapping without it's like going to a fight with like one of your hands behind your back.
Yeah. We're
That's
playing
what it's
ball
like.
with one hand. Yeah.
You can't swear when you rap. Like, think about any other rapper who can just say, who think about any other rapper. How many? I guarantee there's been every single rapper out there. Like, you could name your top 10 list. If it's not a Christian rapper, I guarantee you can look at one of their songs
Yeah.
and they've rapped the N word with the N word to just like
Yeah.
connect it. You know what I
Even
mean?
if you think about like Sway's, what's it, the Five Fingers of Death?
Of death,
Yeah.
yeah.
You see Lecrae's did it? I'm like, jeez, man. Like, people like can't say like, oh, he's not a rapper or whatever. I'm like, dude, come on, man. It's so hard to not. To,
People say Lecrae's not a rapper.
oh, some of my friends that are like very that aren't really big on the Christian rap movement, which I think it's fine, but they're more they're just like true rap has to have cussing and being about these lyrical themes. They don't agree with everything, but that's what it has to be. I don't really subscribe to that.
That's
It's just crazy,
that
man.
don't
Like
make
I'm a
sense,
worship.
yeah.
I like worship music and like metalcore, so it's like it's tough. It's very tough to even write my own music. That's what I use Logic for all my rock stuff. Obviously, like I don't um I don't cuss in any of my music, but even a couple bands that I like really listen to and rock with, like I'm like, oh, you guys are secular and you don't cuss, and I found out like a couple of the bands are like, well, everybody cusses, so like, why not be a little different? And I'm like, I really mess with that. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, that's something that's people really probably don't, and I'm not really a big hip hop guy. I wish I was. I was even on my at 4th of July on my friend's couch, like me and Shane. Shane's a huge Juice World guy. And so
Mm.
I was like, I bet I can name 10 Juice songs. It took me probably like 10 minutes to name 10 Juice songs. I got like the first
Yeah.
5 or 6 and then, you know,
Could probably name like three. Like I'm a huge like hip hop fan,
Yeah,
but
give me your top 5
more
artists right now. Actually, on the way. It can be Christian or non-Christian or mixed.
So I mean, I'll just do Christian different. Like Christian, like is definitely like Lecrae, KB, John Keefe, um, Andy, and then I'll give the fifth spot to Kieran the Light. You know who that is?
No, actually,
Check his witchcrafts. He's got a 5-part witchcraft. They're crazy.
a witchcraft.
They're called witchcraft. So he has like a part 1, a part 2, a part 3, a part 4.
Oh.
They're all about just like how the devil works.
Oh.
And it's like he's very like I'm not gonna say like conspiracy theorist, but like in a way of that. But he's like Christian.
Okay.
Like
Cool.
he raps aggressively, but he's not swearing. He's not.
What do you
like,
think of
know what I
Hobson,
mean?
by the way?
I like Hobson actually. I know a kid I went to high school with, Ryan Pinko. He shot his ill mind of 5 video.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Hobson's good though. I like Hobson a lot.
I guess.
I liked all of his ill minds. I liked his last album I listened to by him. I forget what it was, but it was like the album. I remember like the intro was like him talking about like he was married to this girl and like she ended up saying like he like beat her or something. Like it was like he got set up for this domestic call or something like. But Hobson's nice, man. Like I liked all the folk volume when they had Dizzy Wright, Jared Benton, all of them. Like I'm a huge hip hop guy, but like the new stuff, I'm not like. But I'm like a 1990s like 90s hip hop, like
You
2000s.
liked Biggie a lot, didn't you, back in the day?
I like. Yeah, like so I didn't really get into hip hop until honestly what got me into hip hop was because I don't really listen to music. The only music I listened to was like when I was in the car, like I was going to baseball games, like I was in the back seat, and my stepdad listened to rock music. So like I grew up on rock music.
Nice.
In 2004, the summer before I moved here, I really liked Linkin Park,
Hell yeah.
and Linkin Park made a album with Jay-Z called Collision Course.
Yeah, that.
So Jay-Z
Forgot
rapped
about that,
over,
yeah.
or like, you know what I mean? So I really loved all the shits. So that got me into like hip hop. So then the next year, I moved here, and then like LimeWire became a thing.
Yeah.
So and then like I started to download albums. I got into the history. I had like my own stereo, so I could listen to the radio. So listen to like 94.5, and I would know what was on the radio, and I would like, okay, I got to keep up with this, and so like yeah, I got into hip hop and I did my history. You know what I mean? Like I'm one of those dudes that I don't. If I'm gonna get into something, like I need to go all in because like I don't want to talk to someone who knows like a little bit about it and not be informed.
Yeah.
Like I need to do the history. Like that's like one thing that's like separating me from like golf is like I'm not ready to like dive.
Oh,
in.
come on,
You know
bro.
what I mean?
You would
I'm not
love
ready.
playing
I'm
with
not
me.
ready. No, I play golf. Like I haven't played this year yet, but like I played golf probably like 10 times, 15 times last year. Like I went to driving ranges. I played. But like I'm not ready to watch golf. Like
It's crazy.
not
Like
ready.
you wouldn't think that you would like people would like watching golf. If you get into golf, you like watching it, and it's such a guilty pleasure.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't want to talk golf with like someone because I don't know it. So like I like if you talk basketball, like I'm gonna know
Yeah.
everything. Like
You
I
know
can
much
tell
more
you.
ball than I do.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So like same thing with hip hop. Like I know like Nas's discography. I can tell you every single Jay-Z album that he's dropped since 96. Reasonable Doubt.
Yeah.
Like I know Biggie dropped 94
Ooh,
Ready to Die.
Should we
Like
talk about
bro,
Kanye, by the way?
like I got
you're
an
done.
Illmatic tattoo right here. Like come on. Like come on. You know what I mean? So what were you saying about Kanye?
Should we talk about him?
Sure. I love Kanye.
What did you think about the whole Christ is King album? I thought it was very interesting. I just think it was
That was before Donda, right?
yeah, because hasn't he
So
kind of
that was like
renounced?
before. That was like before. Like I really took religion serious. So like honestly, I didn't listen to it. I listened to
You
it
probably
after I
thought it
became
was
a
terrible,
Christian.
right?
I wasn't like a huge fan of it. Like after I became a Christian, I messed with a couple songs. The song of Pusha I really liked. I was more of a Donda guy
Yeah.
though. Um, I really, I really did though when I got even like into religion. I did fall back in love with Kanye in a way of like looking at his earlier projects, like College Dropout, Late
Yeah.
Registration, Graduation. Yeezus was another one too that like even re-listening now, which I did appreciate it for its time. At the time in I think it was like 2013 when it came out, but like I do appreciate Kanye like a lot more as I've gotten
Yeah.
older. Such a great, even at the end of the day as an artist, he's a great one of the best producers we've ever had.
Yeah.
Like
And this is probably a dumb question for any Kanye. I'm trying to think of my other friends who are like true Kanye fans. I'm not sure, but he obviously he writes and produces everything, right?
no, I mean he's at the point now. Like he's got writers and stuff. Like yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah, he's not producing. I mean he never produced everything. You know what I mean? Like he'll work with producers, but he was producing
Where
like
does his genius come from? Is it just the hooks, or is it the producing, or is it the writing? Because I'm trying to think of like,
I think it's just like the sound. So I mean, if you think about it, like
because he is a genius. That's like kind of hard to refute, right?
I mean, genius is like there's levels to it, you know what I mean? Like some people might call him a genius, some people call him
Would
an
you
idiot.
say
Like
Jay Z or Jay Z or Kanye?
is better at what?
I would just say overall, I would say just I guess producing.
Producing. Kanye, Jay Z don't produce.
Oh, he
Jay Z
doesn't.
just writes. Yeah, Jay
Okay.
Z
I
just
see. I
writes.
don't know what I'm
But
talking about, guys.
Jay Z too. Jay Z. One thing I'll give Jay Z, one of the best lyricists of all time. Jay Z doesn't write anything. Jay Z will go to a studio and just, yo, my name H
Sean
to the
Carter.
Izzo. Like he doesn't write anything. It's all in him.
Yeah,
So that is, I think that's even considers him for a genius too. Like,
that's crazy.
but um, I mean, with Kanye, like the thing that makes him so good is he's vulnerable. He's got a specific. He can blend into different styles. So like his first album had just great production and timeless production. That it was like that early hip hops, but it also had like these funny skits. He was funny in it too. He had stuff like Spaceship, where like he's just like a random like anyone can relate to, just like hating your job, going to work and just like yo screw my boss, I want to steal like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But then he'd have like a Jesus walks,
yeah,
and then you know what I mean. And then late registration was very similar to that, but then he'd have stuff about his mom too, like Big Brother. Like he was so humble. Graduation was kind of him like being more poppy. You had Stronger, you had Good Life. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is one of his classics, you know what I mean? But that was like after his mom died. 808s was after his mom died. Like 808s, like listen to 808s, man. Like that whole sound is completely different than anything he's came out with.
okay.
Listen to Yeezus. Like listen to Yeezus and tell me like like listen to Travis Scott, any of Travis Scott's records, and then play Yeezus. It's like that's where Travis Scott got his whole style was Yeezus. You know what I mean? Travis, and he's admitted that too. Like Travis Scott admitted he would not be who he was if it
Yeah.
wasn't for Yeezus. You know what I mean?
I don't even think that's bad for an artist to do because like when like it's never bad to like talk about your influences, but it's like even half the time when like a big fan of a band that I following right now is this band called Bring Me the Horizon. So they're like the front of metalcore right now, and they're so good. They like even blend genres and whatever really well. It's like even if people try to copy whether Bring Me the Horizon sound or uh, Kanye or Jay-Z sound. It's like you can never actually really do that, so you're just kind of putting your own spin on it. So it's in,
Oh no, 100%. Yeah, I mean
yeah.
that's
And Travis
that's
Scott, you can
music. Like,
look at him and be like, you kind of know it's a Travis song within, I feel like 10 seconds or
yeah, I
so.
mean,
Even I know that now.
Travis is if Kanye and Cudi had a baby, that'd be Travis Scott.
Hmm.
That's his music style. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, there's so many artists you could think about like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, like Young Thug's got a ton of Lil Wayne in him. Um, like this is definitely one I would just always remember. Is like Ghostface Killer and Action Bronson. Just their voices,
Yeah.
like their flows are so identical. Um, yeah, I mean, there's a lot like J. Cole, Nas, the storytelling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kendrick, Tupac, the storytelling, but the vulnerable storytelling about just like real stuff in the hood, about Brenda's got a baby versus like Keisha's song, which is like, talking about like the black woman in the
Yeah.
hood who just like have nothing, and you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's people dying, like there's a lot of similarities, you know what I mean, between these artists and stuff. Like everyone's, and that's the place is music's only gonna evolve, sorry, but I mean, same thing like basketball too. Like you can see similarities between players. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like how many people are going to be shooting deep threes now because of Curry? You know what I mean? Like
It's hilarious when you watch like Porzingis, all 7'4" of him, just like hit a 30-footer, and he doesn't even jump off the ground. It's just flat-footed.
oh man,
It's wet.
he's a cheat code. He's a cheat code. 7'3", man.
Yeah.
I remember I was at game one in the finals, and I'm just like looking around me. I'm just like, feed
Dude,
him, feed
that was
him.
so crazy. Like me.
I bought his jersey after that. I bought the white jersey with the NBA Finals patch.
Yeah.
I was just like, yo, this is the Porzingis game, like game one.
Dude,
like,
that's why like I'm so glad we had him on because if you didn't have that explosive performance,
man, heal up Porzingis. I know you're gonna be out like a couple
maybe
months,
things
but
would have
heal
been
up.
different. Uh, I wanted to ask you about one other thing before we wrap up. Just the whole. So you're. What's the title that you're at the LaBelle Winery in Derry? Are you the manager or what's
I'm the
the
operations
operations
manager, so I
manager?
run. There's two properties. There's one in Amherst, which is like the bistro. It's got like the restaurant. It's got tasting room. They do events there,
Yeah.
weddings, the vineyard, and then dairy. They bought in 2021. It was the old Brookstone, which was like a golf course, mini
Yep.
golf. We built a restaurant there too, which I opened up in 2021, and then I've worked at the restaurant for the last couple years. I became the general manager in 2023, and then I ended up getting promoted to pretty much overtake the property. So now I run like the tasting room, the market, the golf, the restaurant. I run the whole property. So
Man, yeah. Maybe you could just go into that whole story. I think of when I first met you and you were just I think you were bartending and you were doing something else at the time. I was trying to think.
yeah, man. Like restaurants always been like my hustle.
Yeah.
Like easy money. I love the family atmosphere of just like everyone's close. Um, I've never. It's always been a front of the house thing for me. Like I've never been fascinated with cooking. I can't cook for shit.
Really?
Nah, I don't. Food doesn't
I
interest
bet you
me.
could
Like
make
I'm
a
like,
nice drink though.
oh, I can make drinks, yeah, but like food, like I'm very basic. Like chicken and rice and hot sauce. That's all I need. Like or like something with barbecue
Yeah.
sauce. Like that's all I need. Like
What's the
so
best drink you can make?
the best drink, espresso martini.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Guess what?
With cool swan.
So I can't make drinks that well. I'm good at drinking. Um,
It's a good quality.
but what do you think is the best? What do you think is like? So as for cocktails, like I have one drink that I can just always do and nail it pretty well. What do you think it is? It might surprise you.
Long Island Iced Tea?
Yes, dude. Nice guess. Did I tell you?
No.
No, yeah, dude. I don't know what it is, but I can like really make them. Obviously,
Well, it's easy to make. It's just booze.
yeah. Well, you just put a lot of it in there, and then a little bit of, you know.
A little bit of Coke and sour mix, boom, you're good. But yeah, man, like I've always been front of the house, and then I've changed jobs a little bit here and there. I did manufacturing for a bit, and then I ended up working at Bedford Village Inn, bartended there, and then I worked at the nightclub. Started off as a bar
You
back.
didn't go to college, by the way, right?
I did, but I dropped out. It was just I didn't find a thing, so it's never college just wasn't.
I
for
don't think
me.
it's for
And
me
then,
either, man. I mean, at 26, I could always go back, but I'm trying to find.
Yeah, I can always go back to, but yeah, and then just was at the nightclub, became a manager during COVID. We did some crazy stuff. Had the place packed until pretty much the government shut us down.
I do
for
regret not going
6
in your
months.
heyday.
And
I was probably too scared.
and then
scared to
and
go
then
to
yeah,
college
then
at
I
that
went on
age.
Indeed, and then LaBelle was hiring, and then I went there, and I was just like, this is what I did. This is who I am. I told them too. I was like, hey, like, because they told me they were gonna open up the place in Derry, so they were like, which one you want to run? And I was like, oh, I want to do like the new place. You know what I mean? Because I went to the one in Amherst. I was like, this is way too fancy for me. And then the one in Derry's even fancier. So
I was just about to say that when I went there, dude.
It is.
I played
but
golf and then we did 9 holes and then we came in, me and Shane, and it was like raining. And I was like, oh, dude, we look like stray dogs coming in. I'm like, whatever, I'll just text
yeah,
Jalen.
it's a nice place.
Thank
but
you for that free drink, by the way, bro, because you got me the what was it? Was it what's that whiskey drink called? Oh my gosh,
Old
I
fashioned.
think it was an old fashioned with like maple bacon with a piece of bacon. on it.
Yeah.
Oh
White
my
Maker's Old Fashioned,
gosh, dude, that was sensational.
Yeah.
I was like, gee.
Kylie made that, right?
I think she did. Yeah.
Yeah,
Shout out to you,
yeah.
Kylie.
Yeah. So, and then I just worked my way up, man. I was.
And how long did it take you
making-
to get from?
I was making like $20 an hour. I was a shift supervisor, and then I just outworked everyone.
And you've always had that.
And
work
then now I'm
ethic.
on the sign. I'm on flyers. Now I run the property. So
Jeez, man. Yeah. Well, that's impressive, man. That's so cool to see.
it's hard work, man. But it's a lot of like dedication, and like you gotta focus on the little things. You gotta want something. You gotta take it. You know what I mean? Like there's definitely times I put in the extra work. There's times I've done the extra things. Like it's yeah, man. It's especially after having kids. It's like just
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Like I'm out here to survive.
Yeah.
So.
That's crazy, man. I don't even know what I would do with two kids right now. But
It's from boys, man. It's crazy.
some of these guys that I work with at FedEx have like 3, 4 kids, and they're my age. I'm like, dear God, dude.
No, I'm done, man. I'm only having two.
Yeah.
I haven't anymore.
No full basketball team. No starting lineup.
man. Well, because it's like, I think it's like a 40% chance if I have kids again, they're gonna be twins.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's
so-
not always up to you, too. It's like the wife's got to give her input.
Nah, she wants it more than me. She wants a girl.
Yeah.
so. But nah, I'm not risking that, man. All I can watch it be 2 girls. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, oh.
Yeah.
But also too, like, my boys are 2 years old. I want to focus on them. You know what I mean? Like for me, I feel like bringing more kids into this world would be selfish. Like it would be disrespectful for them because it's like telling them like I want like you guys aren't enough. in a
Oh,
way.
yeah. I guess I could see it like that.
You know what I mean? And like that's obviously like there's nothing against people who have big families and stuff. Like you're obviously not communicating that to your kids. But like I don't know. That's just like how I think about it. Like God gave me 2 healthy boys. There's 4 of us. What else do I need?
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Like what else do I need? Like this is what I have. And just like I want to focus on this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I want my boys to both be in the NBA one day. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to be LeVar Ball.
Oh,
like,
man, bro. I hope they're at least 6 foot, bro. Else.
That's all that I do, bro. When I play 2K and I play my career, I play like I put like Jordan as like one player, then like I have another build that's like Trayvon.
Oh
Like,
man, jeez. Do you think they'll just both be like point guards? You think?
I think one will be I think Jordan will be like a small shoot first point guard, and he'll be a little cocky shit. he'll be but Trayvon I can tell he's gonna know the game. He's gonna get people better. He's gonna play defense.
I love this. I already
He's
had
gonna
two.
do the little things.
Got the scouting report on him.
Yeah, man. Like Trayvon's gonna do just. Trayvon's that guy. Like he's gonna be like, just you put him on any team, they become better. But Jordan could be like a superstar. I don't know. I don't know, man.
All right, man. Well, you heard it here first.
No pressure. No pressure.
Yeah. Anyways, man. Well, I don't know how long we've been going, but that was awesome, man. I really appreciate
man.
you coming on. Like I said, it's just so cool. Once again, just we have this whole world, bro, where we, know each other from ball and whatnot. But seeing, once again, just like you step into faith and whatever, is just an awesome thing. Even I don't think I mentioned this too, but you invited me to come to when you guys got baptized. So I didn't even know exactly like where they did it at one church, but like I saw that they were like starting to. I think it was Pastor Mike was doing his thing.
Yep.
And then I just came up and I was like on the side just watching you guys like get baptized, and it was so cool, man. In a funny note, like obviously I'm a big softie, right? Dude, I almost like cried because it was like I was coming out or when I was seeing you guys come out of the water and just that like that spirit. It's obviously like baptism isn't a thing you have to do as a Christian, but if you really follow Jesus, like you want to do that. It's like a public acclamation of your faith. And I just remember seeing you guys come out and just that joy that comes only from, a deep walk with God was so awesome. And just giving you guys a big hug even as soon as you stepped out of the pool, once you grabbed the towel, was an awesome thing,
Yeah, that was
man.
cool. Yeah. No, that was cool.
Inspiring.
Just to like even like I remember the week it happened too. Like we actually saw like the owners of Leblanc, Amy and Caesar, who like they're Christians and stuff, and like Kylie told them like, yeah, we got baptized last weekend, and she like almost cried. Like it was cool. You know what I mean? Like
I just think once again, like I think of like oh, I look at like when I was looking at you and Kylie, I was like, oh, this like reminds me to keep going hard after God, because like we just got like another one on the train or another couple people.
in the kingdom. Yeah,
It's kingdom stuff, man.
100%.
So, all right, guys. Well, this has been another episode of The Last House on the Left, and we will see you next time. Peace.
Did I mistake you for